I'd been convinced the inn had been haunted. How could it not be? The Georgian-style mansion and the adjacent carriage house were older than dirt, used as a part of the Underground Railroad and rumored to have been occupied by injured and dying soldiers after the bloody Battle of Antietam. Floorboards creaked throughout the night. Cold spots lingered in rooms. The old, dimly lit servants' staircase had creeped me out like nothing else. Shadows always seemed to slink along the wallpapered walls. If ghosts were real, then this inn, the Scarlet Wench, should be full of them. And as a 29-year-old, fully grown woman, I was still convinced it was haunted. Haunted by a different kind of ghost now. What roamed those narrow halls on the upper levels, tiptoed across polished floors, and hid in the darkened stairwells, was the old Sasha Keeton from 10 years ago, before the Groom came to the town where nothing ever happened and destroyed everything. I'd sworn that I would never come back to this town. But like Grandma Libby used to say all the time, never say never. Sighing, I pushed away from the wall and looked down the hall. Maybe I wouldn't have flipped out so strongly if I hadn't heard the news on the radio just as I was leaving the interstate. News of a woman missing from Frederick. I caught the tail end of her name. Banks. She was a nurse at Memorial Hospital. Her husband had last seen her the morning she'd left for work. My breath caught as a cold shiver skated over my skin. Frederick was not far from Berkeley County. Usually a 45-minute drive on days when the traffic wasn't bad. The tips of my fingers felt icy as I opened and closed them. One missing person was horrible and sad, incredibly tragic, no matter the circumstances. Multiple missing people was terrifying, major news, and a pattern. Cursing under my breath, I cut those thoughts off. The missing woman had nothing to do with me. Obviously. God knows I fully understood how traumatic a missing person could be, and I really hoped that the woman was found safe, but it had nothing to do with me, or with what happened 10 years ago. The brisk early January winds rolled across the roof, startling me. My heart thundered against my ribcage. I was as skittish as a mouse in a room full of starved cats. My cell phone rang, jarring me out of my thoughts. Bending over, I reached inside the oversized hobo bag and dug around until my fingers curled around the slim surface. I pulled it out, lips twitching when I saw the caller. "Sasha?" Mom said the moment I hit answer. Her laugh made my smile spread. "Where in the world are you? I saw your car out front, but you're nowhere to be found." I winced a little. "I'm upstairs. I got out of the car and started to walk in, but I didn't want to say the words, admit how unnerved I was. "Do you need me to come upstairs?" she asked immediately, and I squeezed my eyes shut. "No, I'm fine now." There was a pause. "Sasha, honey, Mom faded off, and I could only wonder what she was about to say. "I'm glad you're finally home." Home. Most 29-year-olds would feel like a failure if they returned home. But for me, it was the opposite. Coming home was an accomplishment, a feat not easily completed. Opening my eyes, I swallowed another sigh. "I'm coming down." "I was guessing you would," she laughed again, but it sounded shaky. "I'm in the kitchen." "Okay." I clenched the phone tighter. "I'll be there in a few." "All right, honey." Mom hung up, and I slowly placed my phone back in the bag. For a moment, I stood stock still, rooted to the floor, and then I nodded curtly. It was time. It was finally time. I was floored. The inside